Prescribed events are used in Scrum to create regularity and to minimize the need for meetings not defined in Scrum. Scrum uses time-boxed events, such that every event has a max duration. This ensures, of course, an appropriate amount of time is spent planning without allowing waste in the planning process other than the sprint itself, which is a container for all other events. Each event in Scrum is a formal opportunity to inspect and adapt something. These events are specifically designed to enable critical transparency and inspection. Failure to include any of these events results in reduced transparency and is lost opportunity to inspect and adapt. The sprint is the heartbeat of the Scrum cycle. It is bookmarked by sprint planning at the start and by the sprint review and sprint retrospective at the end. The length of the sprint is fixed and is never extended. Most Scrum teams choose 2, 3 or 4 weeks as their sprint duration. Each day during the sprint, the team holds a daily Scrum meeting. Every meeting in Scrum is strictly time-boxed. This means that it has a max duration. It does not mean that it needs to occupy this full time. Sprint review and sprint retrospective are set at 4 hours each for a 30 days in sprint length. For shorter sprints than 4 weeks, they should be adjusted in proportion to the sprint length. Some key attributes of the meetings are described in the following sections. Into the next slides you can see all the events that are part of the sprint. The basic, main and short ideas are as follows. Sprint planning. The team meets with the product owner to choose a set of work to deliver during a sprint. Daily Scrum. The team meets each day to share struggles and progress. Sprint reviews. The team demonstrates to the product owner what it has completed during the sprint. And the sprint retrospective. The team looks for ways to improve the product and the process. The work to be performed in the sprint is planned at the sprint planning meeting. This plan is created by the collaborative work of the entire Scrum team. The sprint planning meeting is time-boxed to 8 hours for a 1-month sprint. For shorter sprints, the event is proportionally shorter. For example, 2-week sprints have 4 hours. This is the output of a sprint planning. A sprint goal, a list of team members and their commitment levels, if not 100%. A sprint backlog means a list of stories including in the sprint. A defined sprint demo date, and a defined time and place for daily Scrum. Sometimes product owners are hesitate to spend hours with the team doing sprint planning. Guys, I've already listed what I want, I don't have time to be at your planning meeting. This is pretty serious problem. So let's see a list of why, for example, the product owner should attend the planning meeting. Scope and importance are set by the product owner, estimates by the team. Product owner starts the meeting with goal and important stories. Team continues with estimates, meanwhile they can ask questions regarding scope of the user stories. Product owner may change importance of the stories due to estimates he wouldn't have expected to. Direct collaboration is fundamental, so the product owner attendance is mandatory. Besides all the characteristics of a sprint goal, long story short, the goal should be something that has not already been achieved. So here are some examples of a sprint goal. Implement basic shopping cart functionality, including add, remove and update quantities. The checkout process, pay for an order, pick shipping, order gift. Complete the 3 top priority stories. Make the system good enough to deploy to a live beta group. Add basic back office support. Part 1 focuses on understanding what the product owner wants. We have an input here which is the product backlog. Product owner and team review the high priority items in the product backlog that the product owner is interested in implementing in sprint. Product owner provides goals and insight into the product. A definition of done is reviewed and completed. Team crafts a sprint goal. At the end of the meeting, the product owner is allowed to leave. In the part 2, we have focuses on detailed task planning for how to implement the items. Team selects the items from the product backlog starting at the top. Highest priority for the product owner, of course. Team decides how much work it will commit to complete rather than having it assigned to them by the product owner. This makes for a more reliable commitment. Team has the ability to lobby for items from further down the list. This usually happens when the team and product owner realize that something of lower priority fits easily and appropriately with the high priority items that are developed. If part 1 is a requirements workshop, part 2 of sprint planning is a design workshop. In this session, the team collaborates to create a high-level design of the features that committed to deliver. An outcome of this session is the sprint backlog or the list of tasks that the team collectively needs to execute in order to turn the items into running tested features. During phase 2, the team may have additional questions regarding the requirements. The Scrum Master must ensure that the product owner and, if necessary, of course, other stakeholders are on call to answer them. Design, as everything else in Agile, is emergent. Also, the meeting is time-boxed, so it is normal that the team won't get the design perfectly done in this session and will discover more tasks during the sprint. This is not a sign that something is wrong. They will simply grab a post-it note and a pen and create more tasks whenever necessary during the sprint. This is one of the events in Scrum that happens daily and has the characteristics described in this slide. Once the sprint has started, the team engages in another of the key Scrum practices, the daily Scrum. This is a short meeting, 15 minutes or less, that happens every workday at an appointed time. Everyone on the team attends. To keep it brief, it is recommended that everyone remains standing. It is the team's opportunity to synchronize their work and report to each other on obstacles. In the daily Scrum, one by one each member of the team reports 3 and only 3 things to the other members of the team. The first one, what they were able to get done since the last meeting. The second, what they are planning to finish by the next meeting. And the third one, any blocks or impediments that are in their way. Note that the daily Scrum is not a status meeting to report to a manager. It is a time for a self-organizing team to share with each other what is going on to help them coordinate. Someone makes note of the blocks and the Scrum Master is responsible to help team members resolve them. There is no discussion during the daily Scrum, only reporting answers to the 3 questions. If discussion is required, it takes place immediately after the daily Scrum in a follow-up meeting. It is generally recommended not to have managers or others in positions of perceived authority attend the daily Scrum. This risks making the team feel monitored, under pressure to report major progress every day, an unrealistic expectation, and inhibited about reporting problems, and it tends to undermine the team's self-management and invite micromanagement. A well-executed sprint demo, although it may seem undramatic, has a big effect. The team gets credit for their accomplishment. They feel good. Other people learn what your team is doing. The demo attracts vital feedback from stakeholders. Demos are or should be a social event where different teams can interact with each other and discuss their work. This is valuable for the organization. Present at this meeting are the product owner, team members, and Scrum Master, plus customers, stakeholders, experts, executives, and anyone else interested. The demo portion of the sprint review is not a presentation the team gives. There is no slideware. A guideline in Scrum is that no more than 120 minutes should be spent preparing for the review, otherwise it suggests something is wrong with the work of the team. It is simply a demo of what has been built. Anyone present is free to ask questions and give input. While it does include a demonstration of the new features the team has completed during the sprint, its primary purpose is to inspect what the team has delivered and gather feedback from the attendees to adapt the plan for the succeeding sprint. Thus, it is much more than a demonstration. Consequently, the most important element of the review is an in-depth conversation between the team and product owner to learn the situation, to get advice, and so forth. The review includes a demo of what the team built during the sprint, but if the focus of the review is a demo rather than conversation, there is an imbalance. In a way, there is transparency regarding the quality of the work. Teams cannot fake the quality by presenting software that appears to work well, but may implement it with a messy pile of poor quality and untested code. Doing a demo forces the team to actually finish stuff and release it, even if it is only to a test environment. Without demos, we kept getting huge piles of 99% finished stuff. With demos, we may get fewer items done, but those items are really done, which is our case a lot better than having a whole pile of stuff that is just sort of done and will pollute the next sprint. There are many variations on this simple format. The Scrum Master can facilitate this meeting by asking everyone to just shoot out ideas. The Scrum Master can go around the room asking each person to identify any one thing to start, stop, or continue. Or for example, the Scrum Master can tell everyone to focus on identifying something to stop, this time because not much attention has been paid to things to stop in recent retrospectives. After initial list of ideas has been brainstormed, teams will commonly vote on specific items to focus on during the common sprint. Yet everybody seems to agree that retrospectives are extremely useful. In fact, I'd say the retrospective is the second most important event in Scrum after the sprint planning meeting, because this is your best chance to improve. Of course, you don't need a retrospective meeting to come up with good ideas. You can do that in your bathtub at home. But will the team accept your idea? Maybe, but likelihood of getting buy-in from the team is very much higher if the idea comes from the team, comes up with during the retrospective, when everyone is allowed to contribute and discuss the ideas. Without retrospectives, you will find that the team keeps making the same mistakes over and over again. A useful practice at the end of the retrospective is for the team to label each of the items in each column with either a C if it's caused by Scrum, or an E if it is exposed by Scrum, or a U if it's unrelated to Scrum. The team may find a lot of C's on the what's working well side of the board and a lot of Z on what could work better. This is good news, even if what could work better list is a long one, because the first step to solving underlying issues is making them visible, and Scrum is a powerful catalyst for that.